Yeah, I think it's very hard if you're wearing glasses. That's the biggest problem for me. It just keeps fogging up, and you just have to.
Yeah, you should put the glass on top of the mask.
Yeah, it's very hard because I got a cloth mask, so it's very
Yeah.
hard. It just keeps slipping, and I have to just like take it out and put it back again. Yeah, first world problem sort of.
Hey, Manish.
Hey Jiva, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Just halfway in the meeting.
Where are your friends?
Not sure, man, not sure.
Hi, Reboot. You there? Couple of more minutes and let me start.
Hi, Jiva. Hi, Jiva. Sorry, I was on mute. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Yeah. So, yeah, what, you enjoy the still work from home or you're already starting to the office?
Yeah, I'm going like alternative weeks, twice a day.
Oh,
Sorry, twice
okay.
a week. There is an audience from New Zealand.
It's really late for Lynn. Is it like 2 hours? It's like 11:30, 12. I don't know what time is it.
Yeah, it's already
11.
Well, I better do. I better not screw this up then.
watching it.
Let me start the recording just in case. Just one more minute. Let's start. All right. So shall we start, or shall we wait for a couple of more minutes?
Are you expecting some more people from Singapore?
Usually there will be more people.
Let's
But
start.
people join, slowly.
That's fine. I think if you want to hold on, that's fine. Like, just wait for like 5-10 minutes and then we can just start.
Yeah. Okay, people are joining now. Okay, I think let's start. Hello everyone, good evening again. Thanks for joining in today's event. I know it's a busy week, and thank you all the attendees for joining today, and thank you Natraj and Aroh for spending your time, valuable time, and allocating your time for our session. And Natraj, especially for you, I know it's too late for you. It's 10 p.m. there, right? I really appreciate that you considered our meetup and spend your time, valuable time for the to share your knowledge. Yeah, without further ado, I would like to you can, stage is yours. You can start. But as a quick introduction,
Yeah.
Guys, sorry, I forgot one thing. So Natraj, if you are using Dynamics 365 for a while, and you might have been using, if you're a developer, you might have been using Level Up, a tool that is recently available in IE also, but it has been there in Chrome for a while. And he is the owner of the tool, the sole creator of the tool. And he is the man, which most of us will be using it every day almost. And he is the owner of the tool. And he's also Microsoft MVP. And yeah, he is joining from Melbourne, by the way. Thank you, Natraj. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Jiva. Thank you for this opportunity, Jiva and Sanjeev. Because recently I've been exploring a lot on GitHub Actions, so I think it's I really love presenting about this content, and I don't think I have worked on anything for more than a couple of weeks. I just usually try to learn it and move on, but yeah, it's been keeping me occupied for a while. So I'm really glad to share this with everyone so that people can also learn, because it's still in preview at this stage. So there are some gaps at the moment, but it is good enough to explore at the moment. So let me just start the slide back. There's not going to be many slides, so I'm just going to start. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Okay, cool. So what exactly is GitHub Actions? So when we come from a Power Platform side, before I do that, let me just quickly start the timer so that I can someone alert me when I'm running over, maybe half an hour mark. Otherwise I'll just probably go overboard. So maybe Dharani can please maybe 30-minute time.
Sure, I can do that. No worries. Yeah.
Cool. And so what is GitHub Actions? GitHub Actions is something similar to what we have on the Azure DevOps space, which is Azure DevOps, whatever we have as Azure DevOps. So in Azure DevOps, we can write the workflow as we call it pipeline, I guess, in action in Azure DevOps, we call it pipeline. So we write a pipeline, and then we have a build pipeline, we have a release pipeline. And then we just write in YAML, or you can write in the classic mode where you have the drag and drop kind of thing. So what GitHub Actions is something similar, but it doesn't have the whole the whole GUI side of things. What is common between Azure DevOps and GitHub Actions is in both of these CI/CD things, we actually write YAML. So the structure of the YAML is very similar. So in Azure DevOps, we have to specify a virtual machine where the pipeline is going to run. So instead of that, it's still a virtual machine. We call this runner. In GitHub Actions world, it's called runner. Runner is a virtual machine where the action or the pipeline or the workflow executes. So when it comes to the runner, the OS of the runner, the runner can be either a Linux, which is just Ubuntu, or it can be Windows. So it's Win 2019, I believe. So it can be either or. So we have Ubuntu runner and we have Windows runner. And then workflow. Workflow is the file where we specify a bunch of actions. So each step on that workflow is it's an action. But we call GitHub Actions for some reason. We call the whole thing as GitHub Actions. That's how it's labeled as well. But the individual step is called an action. So that is workflow. So workflow is that YAML file where it is going to run. And then we have trigger. So trigger is something that is going to trigger the workflow. So usually when we have CI/CD, the trigger can be merging of a pull request or committing to the main branch. And there are also so many other triggers, but usually and we also have this workflow dispatch. Workflow dispatch is a manual trigger where it allows you to run the workflow manually. So most of the time when we are dealing with GitHub Actions, we will either we'll use mostly these three triggers. So one is the PR merge trigger, and then we have the push trigger, and then we have the workflow dispatch trigger. So there are three triggers. And then we have the step. So step is sort of like the sort of the container for all the series of tasks. And then we have the individual action. So that is basically the high level overview of what exactly is composed on that YAML file. And here we can see one of the YAML file. So when I say, so this part, right? So let me just try to Alt. Is it Alt? Oh, sorry, Alt 1. Alt 1. Oh yeah, so this one. So here, let's see this one. So the top part where we have, so here we have so I can say, so this part, let's see. So this is a trigger. So we have on, it says workflow dispatch. So workflow dispatch means this particular GitHub action workflow file can be run manually. And in this scenario, the workflow dispatch does not have any parameters, but you can also pass runtime parameters to the workflow dispatch. So that means when you say run the action, you can pass some additional values to that, and you can use those values inside the workflow. And then this is the part where about the runner. So this is the runner. So runner can be Ubuntu or Windows. With the case of the GitHub Actions for Power Platform, we can currently use only Windows runner. The Ubuntu is not supported at the moment. So that is sort of the limitation at the moment for the runner. When you're using the Power Platform official Power Platform Actions, you have to use this Windows runner. And this is always the first step of and next step is, so this is the part where you can specify environment variables. So we can have multiple steps on the workflow, right? And one of the common, if you have a common variable that you need to use across all the steps, you can set it up as environment variables. So that will be on this build job. So you have the build job. Under the build job, you have the environment variable setup. So your CDS URL, your service username, and your solution, all that can be specified on this environment variable. Otherwise, you'll be repeating this whole thing again and again on these various steps. So that is a good thing to start on environment variables. And always the very first step will be checkout. So this is the Git checkout, right? So your repo, you need to first you need to clone your repo into that virtual machine first. So you always start with this actions checkout. Even when you create it through the GitHub, even when you create a blank workflow through the GitHub, to the GitHub, it always puts this in. So checkout is always mandatory. So you always put that checkout. So you need to clone the repo first, and then this is so there are 6 actions for the Power Platform official actions, and then currently the Power Platform actions are not published in the marketplace. So GitHub has a marketplace. And unfortunately, Power Platform, because I think possibly because it's still in preview, they have not published it into the marketplace. So the way you reference the Power Platform actions is to specify something like this. So Microsoft is the owner name, Power Platform -actions is the repo name, and then you have the series of actions. So who am I is an action, and you need to put at whatever the tag name is. So in this scenario, who am I? I'm trying to use the tag as v.017. So that is a tag name. So that is the format you need to use. So for using the Power Platform actions, and then the actions themselves take a series of parameters. So for example, this who am action, it needs 3 variables. It needs the environment URL, it needs the username, it needs a password and secret. So you need to pass that along to the action. And this is the format we use for kind of like this is familiar if you're using like knockout or some sort of mustache template. Is very common format, $ braces. So what this means is I'm going to use the environment variable, and env.url means it's going to refer to this URL. So that is what it means. So I'm going to pass this variable into this particular environment URL, and this is all very similar. And each action has got a different set of parameters. So you need to know what are the parameters to pass. There is no IntelliSense. So if you are composing your actions either in Visual Studio Code or in GitHub, you would not get any IntelliSense. So all that has to be manually filled at the moment. So there is a bit of like looking at the Power Platform Actions repo and figuring out what are the possible parameters for that. So that is that. And then you can basically okay. So this one, right? So there are, since this is a virtual machine, right? This is a Windows virtual machine. That means you can also run arbitrary PowerShell commandlets. So that is how I can run. There is a step called run. So when I say run, that means I can run any sort of PowerShell script. So if you want to sort of do some extraction of solution or any sort of like invoke some API, anything like that, you can write a PowerShell script. So you are not exactly limited by whatever Microsoft provides on this Power Platform Actions repo. You can also write your own PowerShell script to do whatever you want. And also you can use like third-party actions. So GitHub Actions has got like a huge amount of third-party actions available. For example, in this scenario, I am using this third-party action called getXMLinfo. I'm using that to read the solution XML file, and I'm using XPath. I'm using XPath to grab the version from that solution XML file. I can grab this and I can increment that version file. So you have like hundreds of actions that are community provided GitHub actions. So you can use all of them. So that is a power of GitHub Actions, because you have both the official actions and you have a community action. And I can also show you, it is also really trivial to create your own custom GitHub actions just using PowerShell, because there is a method in actions. In actions, you have three mechanisms to create actions. You can create through JavaScript. You can create a Docker action. You can also create a composite composite workflow step. So composite workflow step, you can just simply write PowerShell scripts. So that is also a powerful way to create new actions. If you think that there is something lacking or something missing in Power Platform, the official actions, if there is something you need, you can always write your own actions and publish them on the marketplace. So next slide. So this is what I was talking about. In terms of runners, I forgot to mention one thing, that is also self-hosted. So you have the Windows runner, you have the Ubuntu runner, you also have the self-hosted runner. So self-hosted runner means you basically can host your virtual machine somewhere else, and you can install the GitHub runner. I think there is a MSI. There is a MSI that installs a couple of XCs on that particular machine. And if once that happens, you can basically run the whole GitHub Actions inside that virtual machine. You don't need to run that inside GitHub's virtual machine in the cloud. You can run it inside your own virtual machine. So that is the self-hosted runner. And in terms of actions, I was saying, you have JavaScript actions. If you want to create, this is only if you want to create action, right? If you want to create action, you can write a JavaScript action, or you can write a Docker container action, or this is really powerful for people who are targeting Windows. Composite workflow step. Composite workflow step can be used to write PowerShell. So we have all been writing PowerShell scripts using XRM data PowerShell, or Whale Humsey's PowerShell commandlets. If you're comfortable writing those PowerShell scripts, or you have been writing PowerShell scripts for a long time, this is a powerful way to create new actions without trying to learn like Docker container or node, packaging, all that. Just write a PowerShell script, test it locally, and then just add a few parameters, and then you can just publish into marketplace. It's really easy to do that if you want to create new actions. And then Power Platform GitHub Actions. So this is the official Microsoft actions that is currently not published in the marketplace. So it is still in preview. So that is a note to consider. So there are still some limitations or bugs. If you encounter anything, it can't be it's not, you can't raise a support request for that because still in preview. And what exactly it is, it's actually a wrapper around the Power Apps CLI. So when we are developing PCF components, we are so used to the Power Apps CLI. So the pack PCF, pack solution, all
Hello?
that. Sorry, was there a question? Okay, so we are used to Power Apps CLI. So Power Apps CLI is what we use frequently in the for PCF development. It actually uses the same Power Apps CLI, and it just actually wraps around that. So any sort of commands that it's going to issue, it's going to come through the Power Apps CLI. So if you want to test something that if this is not possible through Power Apps CLI, it most likely won't be possible through the GitHub Actions, because it's sort of a wrapper around that. And then this is the biggest limitation at the moment. Along with one more, so you can use only username and password at the moment. You can't use a service account. If you have an application user, you can't use that. You can use only username and password, and also you can't use a multi-factor authentication. So if you have MFA, you can't use it. You can't use the official actions at the moment. You can simply you have to create a dedicated user.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so with the Windows runners only.
Sorry.
With the Windows runner only.
Yeah.
I was wondering exactly how that works, because me and my team designed a similar thing. So I'm just wanting to know how it works.
So this, when you say Windows runner, so Windows runner is just a virtual machine, right? So you have a Windows 19 virtual machine, and you have the GitHub Actions MSI that is installed on that virtual machine.
Okay, I generally don't give a fuck. Thank you.
Yeah. And then this like I said, this particular action is the Power Platform actions are not published in the marketplace, so you won't be able to search it in the marketplace. And this is the thing I found I actually kept encountering for the past couple of weeks. I totally forgot, because I think probably of this around this whole Black Lives Matter kind of thing, they change everything to master. From master, they change the default repo to main. So you might find some old examples somewhere in GitHub. If you're looking for GitHub Actions, you might find that they are triggering on the master branch. So if you try to use master branch, you need to remember that if you create a new report today, the default branch is going to be main. Just remember that. I don't know whether the documentation or the
Shut the fuck up!
Documentation or labs reflect that. So just remember that the default branch is actually main. So remember that. And then we have these 6 actions available at the moment. So who am I is just basically heartbeat sort of. You're just pinging an environment just to confirm that you can use the username and password. And then clone solution is when you need to populate. You need to you have a blank repo, right? You don't have anything else in the repo. You create a vanilla GitHub repo, and you want to basically take a solution that is already deployed in your dev environment or already in your dev environment, and you want to unpackage it, and you want to commit that solution, the unpackaged solution, into your repo. So that is what clone solution is. All this you can test it on the Power Apps CLI itself. All these are I think, except the branch and something like that. You have the clone solution, unpack, pack, all that is on the Power Apps CLI. And then import solution. All this is like self-explanatory. Branch solution is the one this action you actually use to create a new branch. So for example, you make some changes in the dev environment, right? And you want to unpack. You want to basically unpack that solution, and then you want to create a new branch with the changes, and then someone can just manually go and merge that PR. And then the PR is going to be merged into the main branch. So you don't want to commit directly to the main branch. You always want to submit a PR, and you want to merge the PR. So that's what you can do with the branch solution action. So enough of the slides. So let me just go into the demo. So in this demo, I need to. Oh, I think. Oh, did I close it? Okay, let me just go into okay, I think I might have closed my GitHub. So this is the demo repo I created. It's public. So if you want to refer this after the demo, you can go and refer it. So right now you can see there is nothing on this repo site. So I have 4 actions on this repo. So I've created several actions. So one of the actions I have created is initialize repo. So initialize repo. Let me just, I don't know whether this is probably better with the IntelliSense, the highlighting, code highlighting. So I'll just show this in VS Code. It's the exact same thing. So what I have done is the very first step, right? Is it actually is the text legible, or do I need to zoom it in? Is it readable?
Natraj, we are seeing your presentation. Can you please share your the demo, like the Visual Studio, whatever you have?
Oh, is it not visible?
No, we are just seeing your presentation. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, where is it? Let me just reshare it, because I shared my desktop, I thought. Maybe I shared the window.
No worries.
Is it sharing the whole thing now?
Yes, yeah, we can see it now.
All right, okay, cool.
Can you please zoom in? Yeah, it's too small.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
So what we have is the first step, so this is a sample action I have created. So let me just zoom that. So this is a sample action I have created. So the very first step, right? So this is the name of, so this particular action is supposed to be run only once. So I'm going to, so that's why I have workflow dispatch on this one. So I have workflow dispatch. So that means I can run only manually, and then I run it only on Windows latest. And then I have my environment details, and I have the solution name. And then the very first step, I'm going to just ping. It's just a heartbeat. So I'm going to just check whether the environment is up. I can connect with the username and password. Then I can clone the solution. So once I clone the solution, I need to get the solutions version using that this third-party action that's called get XML info. Then I need to set a output variable. So right now, if we use this create solution branch action, let me just see. So there is an action called this branch solution action, right? This branch solution action, if you don't pass a branch name to this particular action, it is going to auto generate a branch name, and the auto generator branch name is very messy, because I also want to automate the PR as well. So if you don't know what the branch name is going to be, because it's got like a weird timestamp thing in there, so it's better to set the branch name when you create the solution branch itself. So that's why I actually use this particular, this is the format you use for variable names. So you say set output name branch name, and this is the format. This is the format for setting the variable for a particular step. So once I set a variable for a particular step, I can reference it like this, so I have steps dot branch name dot outputs dot branch name, which is nothing but this particular branch name. So that's the variable. So I am setting that variable because I want that particular branch name to be predictable, because I also want to merge the PR using OctoKit. So that is the next step I use for OctoKit. If you go into the Power Platform Actions lab, I think it just stops here. It stops at the point where you create the branch, and this part is not automated, but it can be automated because there is also this OctoKit thing. So you can try to automate as much as you can. So what this does is it actually creates a branch with the predictable branch name. So I have the branch name as a solution version, everything. Then I also submit the PR using the OctoKit action. And that's what it is. So that is action. Let me just now jump into this particular repo. So like I said, this whole tab is called actions, right? This whole tab. Okay, I won't zoom like this. I'll just zoom this way. Is this readable?
Yeah, this is readable.
All right, okay, cool. So what I do is I can just say initialize repo. How are you doing for time?
Yeah, you still got 9 minutes more for your 30 minutes mark.
All right, cool. That's fine. I think we are very cool. So I have the initialize repo. So I have run it a couple of times just to understand it. So what is going to run is so I can just show whatever. So let me just go into initialize repo. So it has run in the past. So I can just show you how it looks like when it completes. So you have all these tick marks, right? So it basically will run through. Once it encounters some errors, it's just like Azure DevOps. If it encounters an error on particular step, it won't execute any subsequent steps. So That's very similar to how we have it as well. And then the way you check it is here. You can just check all the steps and everything. And while it is running, I'll also show another way. So what we have, there is this amazing extension for. So if you are dealing with GitHub Actions and VS Code, install this extension, GitHub Actions. The extension itself is called GitHub Actions. So it is really useful in two ways. One is actually you get some intelligence. So you don't get you don't get intelligence the whole way through. Like for example, this who am I can't just I don't get any intelligence by saying, oh, this particular who am I action has got like three parameters. There is no intelligence for that, but you get some intelligence when you actually use so for example I say, so for example here on, so this is a trigger. So what are the other triggers? So I can just say, instead of workflow, if I just put on and I say control space bar, once I do control space bar, I get all these additional options. So I can see that there are these other options. So I can say if there is an issue, I can trigger it. If there is a pull request, I can trigger it. If it's a push, I can trigger it. So you have, or you can trigger it on a schedule, like we have in the Azure DevOps. We can specify a schedule in that cron format. So that is also possible. If you want to commit your changes into the repo every day at 5 p.m. in the evening, it's still possible using that schedule thing. So with this extension, you get some intelligence, right? And in order to find out what are the parameters, the only way to look at it at the moment is you need to go into the Power Platform Actions repo. So Microsoft Power Platform Actions, and then you go into Power Platform SRC, and then you have actions so you have all the actions. Under each actions, there will be a file. Oh, sorry, not on this one. If you go into, I think in this one. So for example, if I just want to say clone solution, right? Clone solution. So there is this file called action.yaml. So action.yaml has got all the parameters. So if you're stuck, right, in terms of what exactly are the parameters, this is the parameter that you need to pass. So if it's required equal to true, you need to pass it. See this ones, there are some are like false. So you don't need to worry about this. You can skip this, and it's going to put some default values, or it's going to manage with it's going to use some default values, but true is mandatory. So that's how we figure out what exactly is a parameter. Without intelligence, this is how we can figure it out. So let me just check what is happening now in this particular action. So I can see initialize repo is finished running. So it's built. So it has run all the steps. So I can see now there is a PR. So PR is clearly marked. This is the timestamp. So this is why we actually set the branch name manually, right? Because if we set the branch name manually, we can play around with it. We can have it the way we want. And then if you check the commits, you can basically compare. It's basically the same experience, right? So it's what it's doing is just committing. So all the things I have a solution, the demo solution. So, and what I can do is once I have the PR, I can just merge this PR, and I have another action that is going to deploy this into the test environment. So I say merge pull request. I'm just going to confirm merge. And after it's merged, I can delete the branch. So right now I have another action that is going to fire straight away after something is committed to the main branch. So if I go into the actions, I can see it's going to already start running. See this, what a merging pull request has done is it has committed something into the main repo. So now my other action is going to run now. That is going to trigger on the commit into a main branch. So if I go into the definition for this particular workflow file, so if I click this workflow file, I can see I'm just saying if I push something to the main branch, and only if I push to this particular solutions folder. If I push anything to the solution folder, only then I want this whole workflow to execute. I don't want this workflow to execute if I update my README file or anything. So you can filter it out. You have exclusion criteria, you have inclusion criteria. There is there is a lot of documentation around that. So this is the minimal I have. I want to commit only if the solution changes. I don't care about anything else, only on the main branch. So that is what it's going to do is it is going to do the same thing. It's going to first ping that environment, the target environment. So usually this will be a test environment or a production environment. You first need to ping it. So if you have if that environment is down, or if your password is wrong, you want it to fail straight away. You don't want it to wait for half an hour and then fail. So just always have this who am I as the very first step. because it's just a heartbeat. This is the heartbeat action sort of. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack the solution. It's very similar to what we have in the Azure DevOps. I am going to pack the solution from what I have in the repo. So I'm just saying that in my repo, go into the solutions area, and this is the solution name, and then go into the SRC folder and just pack this into the solution name. So I have the environment variable just like I had earlier, and then I also get the solution version just similar to how it is, and then I actually upload the artifact, the solution artifact, as in the packed solution file, into the releases area. And then I actually do one thing differently here. That is, actually there is this third-party action called deployments. So what it uses is uses a GitHub deployments API, and it creates an environment. So the way it is really useful to look at the history, like, if you want to look at the history of what are the various solution versions that have gone into the environment, you can use this particular action, third-party action. It's really useful. Once this finishes running, I'll show you how it looks, and you'll understand why it's useful. I actually create this deployment, and then this is the part where there is something that is missing at the moment in this Power Platform action, right? If you are deploying a managed solution into a target environment, you will always deploy this as a holding solution. The reason you want to deploy it as a holding solution is because you want the deletions to be propagated into the target environment. If you are deploying using the override, your deletions won't be propagated. But the problem is the import solution action on the Power Platform, the official Power Platform actions don't have a apply upgrade. So that's a reason, first you need to figure out, whether you want even to figure out whether the solution already exists in the target environment. Because if it exists in the target environment, I need to import it as holding solution. If it doesn't exist, I can just import it as a normal solution. So you first need to figure out. Yeah. So I'm just using this Microsoft XRM data PowerShell. So there is a PowerShell commandlet. This PowerShell library is available on this PowerShell gallery. So like I said, if you know PowerShell, you can fill up the gaps. Right now, you can fill up the gaps. So in this scenario, I want to query some things on the target environment. I don't need to wait for Microsoft to give me that capability. I can write a PowerShell script and I can just get that capability. So what I'm trying to find out is whether I need to import the solution as holding or not. So I'm trying to find out that, and I am going to import the solution as managed or unmanaged. And this is a trick. This is sort of very similar to what we have in ADO. So we have a if, right? So I'm saying if the solution type is unmanaged, then this particular step will run. So this is conditional execution. So if it is managed, this step will run. So I have both the steps, but only one of them is going to run, because the solution type I will specify on the very top. So I say the solution type is managed. So only that particular step is run. So I'm going to import the solution. So one of the parameters is import as holding. That's why we want to figure out whether the solution already exists in the target or not. So that is what I was doing with the PowerShell script. And then like I said, there is no apply solution upgrade step on Power Platform action. So you have to write a PowerShell script to do that. So I'm writing a PowerShell script, and then I'm just using this XRM data PowerShell, because XRM data PowerShell has got a command called merge solution holding solution async. So I can use that. Then I update the deployment status with the version number. So all that is finished running. Once this finishes running, I think this is some issue I expected. For some reason, it doesn't work for the very first time. I have actually raised a ticket in the official repo. It doesn't run the very first time, but the second time it runs, something to do with the pre-warming, something like that. So I can run. I have a manual action here. I have a manual action that I can run. So this is also a good opportunity to show that, see, when I run the workflow, I can grab these additional parameters. They can grab these additional parameters and I can run the workflow. So second time when I run, it's going to run. So I have logged a ticket today. So that hopefully will be resolved, or I hope there is some sort of resolution to that. And if I go into the GitHub Actions, so for example, right, this has failed, right? So you can see from environments, you can see test. I can see when I click this, it says failure. I tried to deploy 2020 1029 3, it was a failure. So this is what it gives you, that deployment step I was saying. It actually gives you this historical view of what has happened in that environment. So it's a good step to use on your action. So that is sort of how it is working. And currently I can run this manually. It's going to finish running, I know, because last time around when I was testing this in the morning, the same thing happened. And this is the GitHub Actions site. And if you have 10 minutes right now, how many minutes do we have remaining? 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yes, no, that's 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I will show you while this is running. I'll show you another way, the self-hosted runner, because I didn't show this before. What I have done is I have actually, so self-hosted runner is something that you can, so if you go into, and one thing also I explain. So if you go into this repo, right, I have all the links in here. So if you want to know what exactly is included in the Windows runner, there is a page, right, where you can reference. Don't need to note this URL. It's all in the slide pack. So I'll share the slide pack later. So you have a whole bunch of actions. You have a whole bunch of applications installed on that Windows runner. So you have Docker installed, you have PowerShell installed, you have like even Azure CLI installed. So there are a lot of things already installed, even WebDriver installed. So first check if you want to install something using like Chocolatey or something. Just check this first, because just it might be already there. Like, you know, Git is already installed. So there are a lot of things installed already. So check that. And what I have done is, what I want to show is another thing where I have so I have this repo. I will show this other repo. So I have this other repo. There is a Docker GitHub self-hosted runner. I have put it in the slide pack as well. So what this does is it actually helps you to troubleshoot your runner like locally, right? I can actually run this GitHub runner inside a Docker container, and all the files in the Docker container are actually mirrored on the local one. So the way I run this is I have a PowerShell script. So I have a script called actions runner setup. So that script accepts two parameters. One is a repo. So you need to actually, because this owner repo is required for grabbing the personal access token. Because when you want to run a self-hosted runner, you need to grab a token. So in order to grab a token for the particular repo, you need to actually create a new GitHub personal access token, and then this script is going to download the installer from this particular repo, actions runner repo, and then you can run this particular thing on your local machine. So what I can do is, so I say this particular one is, I have to grab this. This is the repo that I want to use my self-hosted runner on. So I just mentioned that, and I have a personal access token. So personal access token you need to create from GitHub. So I can create that. Once I create that, I can run the script. That script is going to download. See, it's downloading the actions runner from GitHub. It's going to extract it. And once it extracts it, I can use the Docker Compose to run that GitHub runner, and it's going to authenticate using the environment file. So if you look at it, I have an environment file here. So I have a repo URL and I have a token. It needs to use a token. So the token is unique for each repo. So right now, what I can do is I can just say Docker Compose up. If I do that, it is going to create the self-hosted runner inside the container. Right now, the container is not like really optimal at the moment because I'm not packaging up everything inside the container. So some things are still outside, but the reason I'm doing that is because it currently supports only Windows runner. The Windows runner is supported. Once this supports every runner, it is going to be, I am going to slightly tweak it. So right now, what it has done is it has created the actions runner. So if you look at this actions runner, it has created. So it's now saying listening for jobs, right? So this runner is active now. So now if I go into my repo, so, and I go into settings and I go into actions, I should be able to see this is saying green. You have a green dot and it's saying idle. So the way I can just check is I have a demo self-hosted runner. So what I have done in this one is, if I go into my workflow file, I have said I want this to be running on self-hosted Windows x64. So that's what I said. So that kind of is going to run it on the self-hosted runner. So if I go into actions and I go into self-hosted, I say run workflow, and then what is going to happen is I'm going to start seeing. See, it's saying that I'm running the build job. I am getting the messages, and what is also going to do is it is also going to populate the, see if I go into work, now if I go into actions, and if I go into, if I go into temp, not this one, sorry, Microsoft. Where is that? Work. I think it should be in work tool. No, these ones. Power Platform Actions. So this, you can see all that, like, you can see the whole thing is just cloned inside, and then I think it's still running, possibly. V2. I don't think it's not logged anything yet. GitHub Actions solution. There is supposed to be log file somewhere in here. Let me just check whether it is finished.
Sorry to stop you. I request, can you zoom in a bit when you show the visuals video?
Source, sorry, which one?
Can you zoom in a bit here when you show the VS Code? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Thank you.
So let me just first find out where this, there is a log. All these logs are here. I think it's yeah, it's here. I think it took us some time. So I'm going to zoom in and see. If I see, you can see the actions is actually, there is all these runner files. So all the log files are here. So if I double click on this, so I can see it's, so it's all the log files are here. So I can actually troubleshoot the self-hosted. So if you get stuck, right? If you get stuck with the GitHub Actions for this thing, you can use this. So I have the repo published as well. So all you need is Docker, right? And I have already the PowerShells. I have the PowerShell script set up. So it's all like you can easily use it. And that's the Docker thing. How you can run the self-hosted runner, and then I think I run Flight Simulator for some reason. Okay, so self-hosted runner is that thing. All right, so I can just stop that, and then if I stop that, if I go into settings, it is going to say that this is actually offline. It's going to take some time, but it's going to say offline. So that is basically how we can use a self-hosted runner. And one more thing I want to show you, if I have 5 minutes, is like I was saying that you can use the PowerShell. If you just have PowerShell, you can actually use it. So I have written a couple of repos for you to look at. If you want to just write PowerShell script, I have the links in the slide pack as well. I'll share it. So all I have done is I have used Whale Humsey's. So Whale has got this tool called commandlet. Like, you have this. Here's this library called XRM framework. So this one, sorry. So this one, XRM framework, CA PowerShell commandlets. So I have just basically written this whole thing as PowerShell script, and I have published this into the marketplace. So people can just use it as well. Like, I have a solution checker. Like, I have solution extract action as well, which can use the application ID and application secret. And I also have the solution checker action. So I have that published as well. So all that I have, I'll share the link. But like I said, the advantage of the the composite workflow step is that you can you can run a PowerShell script. If you think that there is something that you need to add, a new server community. There is a space for community generated actions, because you have Whale's tool and you have the official Microsoft tool for the Azure DevOps. So similarly, if you are interested in creating community actions instead of waiting for Microsoft to provide something, you can also do that. If you know to write PowerShell, you can actually write those as the composite workflow step. So that is basically what I wanted to cover. I think I might have gone overboard. Maybe it's too high level, but all that is maybe too in depth. But I think all that I put all the links on the very last slide. I will just share this slide with Jiva, and then you can publish it in the site. So that is basically GitHub Actions on it's a whirlwind tour of GitHub Actions. How are you doing for time? Just in time?
Yes, right on the time.
So if there are any questions, I can take some questions, or otherwise we go to the next one.
There are no questions yet. Guys, please feel free to type your questions in the chat. We'll wait for a couple of minutes before we jump into the next session.
Oh, let me just check. Let me just confirm that this particular action is finished also. So if I go into this one, the second time, see. Oh, even this one didn't fail. This one failed. Something to timeouts. Huh. Oh, because I didn't delete the solution. See, now it says that import solution must have a higher version. So it tried to connect, it tried to deploy, but manage solution needs to increment. So this time around, it didn't do timeout. So I think it's working. Cool. So thank you, Jiva, for the opportunity. You can contact me on Twitter if you have any questions. Yeah, my email also is in my blog. So if you have some questions after the session, you can always contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Natraj. Thank you once again. That was a great session on the GitHub Actions. I know there aren't much information available now, and this is a great session to start with it. And by the way, everyone, Natraj is a total legend on these things. And as I said earlier, if you're already using a level up tool in your browser, if you're using Dynamics, Power Platform, model-driven app, you must be you must be aware of the level up tool. He is the creator of the tool, and he's also a Microsoft MVP. And Natraj would appreciate if you also can share your GitHub repository link so that people can.
Yeah, I'll just put the slide back on this chat itself. So I think it'll be easier. I'll just put that whole slide back.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much, Natraj, again. And yeah, so we have next speaker, Aroh Shukla from Singapore itself. And he is going to present on Project Oakdale, from how to become a zero to a hero on Project Oakdale. But before passing it to Aroh, I would like to take a couple of minutes and talk about the community that we have in Singapore and in ASEAN, and about the upcoming global community events as well. So let me quickly share my screen. Please let me know once you guys are able to see it.
Yes, Jiva. Yeah, it's visible.
All right. So first of all, I would like to thank Microsoft, and there are a few key folks in Microsoft who have been very supportive for us from the beginning, like Panjapan, Sandeep, Sharon, Raj, Soyang, and Olivia, and there are many more as well. And so areas we focus in our community typically will be on Dynamics 365, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, IoT, other Microsoft-related products like Office 365, Times, and Azure, and also some business-related sessions as well, like where some industry experts come and share their customer journey and onboarding journey like that. And whom it is for? So it's for first Microsoft business applications and Power Platform developers or consultants, and business analysts, customers, partners, and other developers or consultants who wants to learn, who wants to embark on the journey of Dynamics 365 or Power Platform. So this is a quick snippet of the heroes behind the screen, excluding me, who is working very hard, who have been working very hard since the day one to build this community from the scratch. And I'd like to give a huge shout out to each and every one of them. And there's a quick updates on the upcoming BizApps ASEAN events. So we have event on Vietnam user group event that's on 31st October, and then Malaysia on November 11, and Sri Lanka on November 6, and Women in Tech event, that's our inclusive event on November 10th. So I can see Elian is there, she's speaking, and she's in the this session as well. And then we also have global events, like we have Power Apps for Kids APAC, that's on 21st of November. And then Microsoft 365 Developer Bootcamp, it's one of the biggest event in a year, and that's on November 7th. And then there are other community events, like in Singapore we have .NET Summit 2020 APAC Asia specific event, and 365 Saturday. You can check your website. They have lots of events happening every week, and you can go and check in the website. And we also have TDG, where there will be lots of interesting hackathons and other interesting events that will be posted regularly in the LinkedIn page or website. You can follow there as well. And Power Platform 24 or XRM Virtual, and also Power Addicts, where they do monthly Google Hangout calls. Yeah, so I'll also post the links of all these meetups of Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and from New Zealand, Auckland, Wellington as well. So yeah, with that, I'll stop this slideshow, and yeah, I'll pass it to Aroh. Aroh, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Jeevan. Thanks a lot, and thanks everyone for coming for this opportunity for this amazing session which Natraj has done. I'm showing something else a bit different here. Let me show my screen first. Jeevan, you can hear my voice, right, clearly?
Yeah, very well, Aroh. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You can see a screen too now.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, so my name is Aroh, and today we'll talk about Project Oakdale, Zero to Hero, and I'm also part of a community center in of SQL Pass. Actually, we do a lot of events on the monthly basis, like what Jeevan is doing. And something about me, I'm Aroh. I'm also an MVP data platform. I have experience in Office 365, SharePoint, and data platform. I'm a consultant in Office 365 and also a Power Platform trainer. I do a lot of trainings for different customers and also do some consultancy with them. And this is my LinkedIn profile, and I update my blog quite regularly. And if you want to contact me, you can. This is my Twitter handle. I will share my Slack deck with Jeevan later on. Okay, so agenda for it is quite simple. I won't take much time. It's mostly IT pro kind of stuff we are talking about today. And first is the CDS basics, and then how CDS can work together with the Power Platform. I know everyone knows about that. I just gave you rehashing the same information. However, what the most fun part is about the CDS, Power Platform, and the team, how they work together as a love equation. Right? Let's see how it works there. And I have a couple of demos to show you, so that at least you can have appreciate why Microsoft Teams have pulled inside the Microsoft Teams with the Power Platform. So this is the things. Now this is a very generic slide about transformation your business challenge. And now transform your business is a Herculean task, right? Whether it's your budget constraints, or any kind of constraints you have, business expectations, and irrespective your company, whether it's a small organization or a big organization like Microsoft, all the organization have some complex processes, right? And irrespective, we always have shadow IT. We have to control it. And security and compliance is a huge task for any organization as well. And also we found that a lot of legacy systems happens in all the organization as well. And the other part is we always have a big challenge to integrate your data with the right applications. So these are the few challenges. It's not about the Power Platform. It's actually quite generic thing I want to share with you. Okay, so again, why CDS? Again, CDS is not a database, right? Not a database, but then what it is, right? I want to give a basic analogy. I know a lot of people know Access database, Microsoft Access, and this is the icon. So the latest icon, I got it. So good thing about Access database is very easy to use. It's a desktop application, and most of the people know how to use it. And it is a relational database. Now, if you move to CDS, it's also quite easy to use, right? However, it's actually a web application, which means if you have internet connection, you can create the application and create a database. And a lot of people use it now. And again, it's a relational database. However, these are the only differences between the Access and CDS. However, The CDS has a couple of more features, like you have forms, business rules, dashboards, and you can add your own custom code. If you know .NET code, you can add inside. So this is one of the basic things which you can do. If people know .NET code, you can actually add your code inside your CDS. Okay, and the good thing is that it's a huge ecosystem. It has obviously you have Power Apps, Power Platform, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents, lot of things, and a lot of people know how to use it, right? So, and again, this is a few of the forums I found. There's a differences between Excel, SharePoint, CDS. Even I asked some questions from forums and all, but this is the very basic table actually we got. I want to create a new table. Just want to main differences between Excel, SharePoint, and CDS. Now I won't the SATEC will be with you, but I want to share a few basic stuff. And Excel and SharePoint, CDS have a quite common things. However, if you want to have connectors, security, scalability, and relational database, Excel and SharePoint actually can't do well. The only application for the database perspective is CDS, right? And another thing I want to highlight that what is CDS. Again, I am doing it very basic, and you've seen these kind of things a lot of times. I give you a very basic. Why? Because I want to give a comparison between the Project Oakdale and how the basic, the common CDS which we mostly use. Now, CDS can easily structured as a UI. No coding required. You can write your columns, tables very easily. However, you can also create your own data sources and business logic. You can add a lot of business rules inside your CDS. And you can have interconnected application and processes. The best thing about CDS is that it's highly secure and compliant. Okay, this is the basic about CDS and how it fits. Now, I'm rehatching again. Just want to tell you that these are the four main applications for the Power Platform. Again, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents. But the backend, what is the backend? For the backend is again still CDS. All your data will be stored into CDS. All your governance, your data, DLP, everything's controlled by CDS, right? So these are the things. Now I want to tell you a very important thing here, that transformation. My first slide was about transformation. Now transformation is no longer optional. Again, it's not optional. Okay. Now what Microsoft is trying to do is that now you see that in the stats, right? It has around 75 million active users, and now it's trying to embed Power Platform in the format of Oakdale. And if you know, maybe not knowing it, that Microsoft, I was giving a training to one of the customers as a workshop, and what I found during that particular workshop, that Microsoft was trying to have a digital transformation for 2 years, and within 2 months they are actually able to achieve it. Only 2 months. So I want to rephrase it. Microsoft was trying to have a digital transformation for a couple of years, 2 years, and within 2 months, they're able to achieve it. What is the reason? The reason is COVID, right? You see now, Microsoft is such a huge company. This is from Forbes. Microsoft employees can do everything from home permanently. What's the reason? Because they know, Microsoft knows that all the people can be more productive and lesser commute time and can do the work more efficiently, right? That is the main reason. So not all the companies can do it. Microsoft have a courage, has guts that all their employees can do, right? So I want to give an example here that in my organization, I have not went to office for the last 7 to 8 months. Reason? Because I can do everything remotely. I have a lot of training, workshops, consulting, work, everything. I do everything remotely, thanks to Microsoft Teams and now power of Power Platform, right? So now we have a Project Oakdale with using CDS and Microsoft Teams. So some details about Project Oakdale is, again, it's a low-code, no-code solution. which is based on CDS. And again, I put highlight a subset. It's not a full-fledged, it's a subset of capabilities of Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. So the storage, everyone must be knowing that when you store a file, by default is go to SharePoint or OneDrive. However, for Project Oakdale, your system backend system will be CDS in general. Okay, and then the best thing about Oakdale is that you can have one-click deployment. I will show you in just 5 minutes about the demo, and then you have a clear picture what I'm talking about. Now, again, the core of the Project Oakdale is CDS, right? Which is the relation database. You can have a files and file storage. And again, Project Oakdale is still in preview. But at this point of time, you can have 2 GB of data per team. So for example, you have 10 teams, you have 20 GB. You have 1000 GB, then you do have simple maths, right? So per team, you can have around 2 GB, and you can have 1 million rows. And the best thing is that each application, each data for the teams, you can use multiple applications. You can have your apps, you can have your Microsoft Flow, and you can also add your chatbots. Again, I show you. However, if you think that maybe one of the application take more than 2 GB, what is the best solution? The best solution will be promote that particular team to a full CDS. So that is the thing. Maybe you have a full capability and a full flexibility. If the data is increasing by 2 GB, you can actually convert very easily to as a CDS if required. So these are the tech script aspects. One team, one environment. You can have around 500 teams, and this in preview, you can have 2 GB per team. And one of the best thing about a Project Oakdale, that all your things, all your security, all your permissions is controlled not by Power Platform, but actually used by your teams. So think about OMG, owner, member, and guest. So if you add an app like Power Apps or Power Virtual Agents, anything, all the permissions the team owner can access. Or if you can define the policy, you can define a guest. Only guest can see it, or the owners can see it. So it completely based on the governance of teams, not about Power Platform. That is a very important aspect. And again, it's a preview. Microsoft might change. Don't roll out to the production yet because it's in preview. This is one of the most important slide, and it's my last slide. A lot of queries I found from internet that is it Oakdale is replacing SharePoint? The answer is no. Your backend system and your file storage, everything is in SharePoint using Teams. However, Project Oakdale is only for your CDS only, right? And the best thing, if you know from the, I'm from Office 365 environment and all. So if you want to use CDS in general without Oakdale, you have to pay additional license. For that matter, even Power Virtual Agents have separate license. So if you're using Project Oakdale with the ecosystem, with the context of Teams, you can actually leverage your Power Apps, multiple applications, your Power Virtual Agents, as well as your Power Automate. So that is the best thing about all the customers who have a very low gate subscription. Maybe they have business premium, or the customer who have a really high subscription, maybe E5. All people can use it. You don't have to shell out additional cost for CDS, for Office 365, and for that matter, even for the Power Virtual Agents. So that is a benefit all the people can get. Okay, and you can use standard connectors. And the very important question I want to tell you that highlight as well, that it doesn't work outside. If you want to have your Power Apps or Power Virtual Agents, you want to move outside, it won't run, because it's run only in the context of your Teams. Okay, so that is the only thing. Now, I just want to just giving you a heads up. Now, let's have the more juicy part, which is a demo. Okay, so in demo, we'll see how you can create apps within Microsoft Teams, and then Power Apps, Power Automate, and how we can easily publish those applications in Teams environment. Okay, this is my reference. Let me show me the demo here. Okay. So this is my sample environment. This is my, it's not my production. This is, I use this environment for my customers and for this community events. Now this is your Teams, right? Everything you can see. Now I will create a new team. Okay. And the team name, I will just put as this name. They have a lot of templates. You can go. Last week, the Microsoft actually created a templates for different standards. You can have a create event. You can have onboarding employees. You can have a hospitality kind of things. Everything they just did last week. I want to create a new team now. And I put something called as a public so that everyone in my team can access this team. So let me create here. Okay, and this is a demo on. Okay, and then create here. Okay, so this is the way you can create teams. Nothing, no fancy stuff here. I want to create, maybe I want to add one of my colleagues as well, so that we have some kind of communication happening. With no team, we can't do anything. So we have two people now. We have myself and we have another member called as Calvin, right? Now you can see that I have create a team. What I want to do next is I want to create an app. How I can do it? I can't do it here. I will work on something called as a Power Apps. Let me show you this easier. So, here I click on the icon called as a Power Apps. Under Power Apps, I want to highlight it's still in preview. I have a combination of Microsoft Teams and Power Apps. And what it's showing you that you can build an app within 5 minutes. Okay, you can have ton of you can have a small video there. You can see you can manage your tracking, time off, submit expense. And what Microsoft Platform team has done is they have created 3 different templates. One is the employee idea, second is the inspection, and third is the issue reporting. What I want to do, this is the basic. You can have a look. I will create a custom app now. How I can do it? I just click on the create an app. Now, when you click here, what it's doing is creating an environment. But environment, which environment? Which I just created. Now, this is the one I just create a team here, and I will select this team. So I want to show you, right, that when you create a team, then you have to associate that team with one of the environment. So this is the environment I'm doing it. And later on, after a few seconds, it will create a backend environment. The name will be obviously demo for BizApp 2018, whatever it is. And then it create a lot of artifacts. What artifacts? It will create a lot of tables. It will create some lookups. It will create an applications like Power App, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents. So all the artifacts will be created in this particular team. Which team we just created? So it gives visibility. Maybe I'll give you in the later part. I'll show you how it works. But I have now created an app, which is this one. Now it takes some time because it's still taking a lot of doing some kind of churning of tables, creating some applications. Then I can do everything. So just wait for a few seconds. And now you can see I now have an app. Which app? I want to create an app called as Help Desk System. Help Desk. Okay. And again, this is a Canvas app. It's not a model-driven app. It's a Canvas app. So I create and save here. Okay. So I just want to tell you that's how easy that I can create an app. Okay, within the context of Microsoft Teams. Okay, so I have table. I want to create a table now. So I create a table, and the table name I put as ticket. Okay. I can put some settings. I put plural, same thing as CDS. I create here, and this table I have to define some columns. Okay, so let me create a columns. This is now you can see a visual designer through which, just like an access and same as designing a tables in your CDS environment, you can do within the CDS part. So what I want to do is I want to create some columns. So I put a ticket ID. Okay, and just like Access database and also in CDS, you have an option called as auto number. Now I have options to do some kind of a prefix, whatever it is. I can just change few things here, and I just do default to create here. So what I've done, I created additional columns called as ticket ID. Okay, and what I will do, I just want to create another column called as description. So I put a description here, and then I will use now again you have a full capabilities of CDS. All your metadata, all your data types are still intact. Your phone number, your email is still there. Okay, there's no compromise. The only compromise I will say is about their data size, right? So I want to have text here and create. I will also create another data type called as due date. Okay, so I put a due date because we have a ticketing system. We must have a date field. So I'm putting a date field here. Okay, great. And I will also create another column called as a priority. So my priority could be a choice field because it could be high priority or any other priority. So I have 3 priorities. So here, just like SharePoint Online, you have some kind of formatting you can do. So I can define 3 choices: low, medium, and high. So let me define my put low, and I put this color. And for the medium, I will actually define here, and I put as an orange. And then last one for the high, I put as high and put red color. Okay, you see how easy to create a table. And so I'm done with that. I will just create a sample one. So one not working. Okay, I put a description, and I have to put some kind of a date, maybe it's very important, and put a priority as high. Okay, I close here. Now see, after a few, now you see you have a database which is a tickets database, and you have a same environment which you have created for the many years using Power Apps. Same environment. There are a few differences here. I'm going to talk about and here what I can do. I can want to show something very important. Now here, and when you click on this icon, you have some integration with Microsoft Teams, right? You have a lot of integration you can this. So what I can do, I can add some labels. Just want to show you that we are working inside Microsoft Teams environment, right? So let me just put and I put Teams, and then I can see this team. So I have lot of properties. Maybe put this team, and also put display name. All right. So you can search name. Okay, I can also drag one more field here, and I put as a define the channel inside the channel. So maybe define a teams in the context, and he put this team and put channel. So I put channel. Okay, so we are putting a channel name. Okay, just make it okay. And also I can do some other things. I can just added my fields just like any environment in Power Apps. I can change edit form. I can change all the things here. Edit form and change to my fields. Maybe want to add another fields. I can add the columns, maybe 2 columns only. So it's the same kind of an experience you get. However, the only differences are like if you go to settings, then if you want to change of the app name, you have to put here under settings. And I put this thing, maybe I put an arrow and put this app. Then also you can see the orientation, whether it's a size, is a Surface Hub or iPad, and also have same kind of functions, whether it's advanced settings, preview features, everything there. All your collections is also built there. You can do everything. This is a few of the applications which Microsoft already done for you, right? Delete, selected mode, everything, right? So I'm going to go back. And I can actually able to save my application as well, right? So it's very simple stuff we can do. I just click here. I can save my app. I can just preview. I can see preview, it looks fine. Okay, I can't see the display name because it's in preview. However, if I publish to Microsoft Teams, then it will show a display name. This is the helper app for help desk. I click on next button, and which team we are actually supposed to do. The team which we just created. So I click here, click plus, right, and save and close. So what will happen behind the scenes? It will create a tab in our new team which we just created for the BizApp October 2020, and soon you will see an team which is called as BizApp and an app here. See everything I can do. Now you can see that it's a demo BizApp and the channel name, everything. I can add a new record as well. I can just add point has some issue, whatever it is. I can put anything. Ticket ID, ticket description, and I can also change the date and the priority and save. Because of the sorry, so you can get the idea. You have a new record saved, and that data is now saved into CDS. Let me go back to CDS environment now. So this is my admin center, which is I opened here. So this is the one. Let me refresh it. I show you now showing some admin site, the IT Pro kind of stuff I'm showing you. So now you see that I already have an app, but it's called as BizApp, and the type is Microsoft Teams, and it has created by me. Okay, what I can do next? I can see the all my users. I can see these are all the users, but maybe I want to see the capacity. Okay, so and under capacity now, don't worry about that because I'm doing a lot of demos, so mine is overshoot. However, if I go to the Microsoft team capacity usage, you will see that I have 2 teams. One is the Project Oakdale, which I just created, 2 days back, and something which we just created now. You see, I'm able to create on that. So now you have a full visibility that I have full how much data I have. I showed you earlier that by default, when you create a new team, you have only 2 GB, but you see that they have around Power Platform have already consumed around 512 MB. We want to have more images, more things, then the data will be difficult to manage. So then what you can do, you can actually able to expand it to your hard content, whatever it is. So very easy to manage it. Okay, so this is the one which I have. And in terms of the security, right? I mentioned security actually is controlled by Microsoft Teams. Is again, I want to highlight here, it's not by the Power Platform, whether you're assigning to each user, Power App user or Power Automate is actually defined into your Microsoft Teams. Owner, OMG, owner, member, and guest. And I have what resources I have? I have resources of Power Apps and Flow. Okay, and this again, they are maybe renaming to Power Automate later on. Okay, so these are a few things I want to highlight that you can lot of fun stuff you can do in Microsoft Teams. And I have something which I have already did to save time. Okay, so I have something called as create an app, which is called as Project Oakdale. And this is something similar thing I have done. I think I just made some small tweaks on the UI. Okay, so let me show you. Yeah, so this one. So here you can see that it has a project name, which team is called as Project Oakdale team, and the channel name is general. I can add a new record. Now, what I want to show you now that I can do lot of fun things inside Project Oakdale. I want to show you already have done, already configured. I want to showcase that in this particular help desk, I want to create an approval using Power Automate. I will also use a Power Virtual Agents so that you get the full visibility that what Project Oakdale can help you. Okay, so again, what I'm doing, want to show you that I'm creating a new ticket. And the new ticket will be going to an approval process. If the manager, IT manager has approved, it will go to status approved, and it will go to send to the user that your ticket is approved and do the processing. However, maybe after 2-3 days, there's no process that maybe the manager has went for vacation. So I can use Power Virtual Agents to find the status of my ticket. How exciting is this? So let me create a new ticket. Okay, so let me show it to that this card doesn't work. Okay, this card doesn't work. I put the description here. Maybe it's very important because I have to go to office on Monday, example. Okay. So on Monday, I have to go to office. I want to have high priority. And I have defined 2 different tables. One is a ticket table, right? And also defined another table called as category. So in this category table, I've defined 2 different departments, IT and HR. So maybe I want, because it's an access card is from the IT, because the access card doesn't work. So I put IT, I just put submit. Now you see that access card, we say the access card, we have details. We have the description, we have the ticket number, and soon, it takes some time, maybe a few seconds and all. I have to, maybe it's already 3 days and the manager has not seen it. So what I can do, I can go to my Power Virtual Agent and ask for my ticket status. So I can go here. I have already configured my chatbot here. So here I have created a chatbot which is asking for my ticket number. Yeah. So let me show you how we can easily configure it. Okay. So again, I'm going to the experience of how your Power Apps, Power Virtual Agents, and Power Automate will work within the context of Microsoft Teams, right? So let me show you that. Let me go to the topics. And what I have defined a topic called as a help desk, and I have also defined few of the trigger status that if somebody asks for about the check status, what is my status, what are things, it will be answered by my bot. Okay, I also go to the authoring canvas. Okay, and I will just ask my questions. I just want to ask a question, so maybe I put hello. I bought, maybe it's 12 p.m. right? So everyone is sleeping in Singapore. So 12 p.m. is 12 to 1 a.m. So my chatbot can able to answer. I'm the virtual agent. I can help you the status. So I can ask about my status. So my ticket, I just want to refresh. So my ticket number, I want to ask the ticket number for my access card, which is number 13, right? So let me go to my chatbot. I go to, and I take some time to move over because it's the same kind of user interface. I just click here, go back, the number 13, and I'll go to help desk. Just be patient here because at times I'm on the 4G. At times my device get a bit slower. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm asking the chatbot. Hello. Okay, my chatbot asking that how I can help. So I wanted, what is my okay, so it not able to comprehend the what is my status. Okay, so now asking for the ticket number. So what ticket number is looking for is number 13, right? So number 13, the user can put a number 13 or put as a word. So we have a AI inside. Not very good AI, but at times it's able to comprehend it. So I just put the 13, or I can put the any number I can just put it. So put. You see, is also 13 is able to comprehend and showing the status that this particular ticket is have a pending status, which means that the manager has not seen the email. Okay, so I have got the email now. I maybe have let me go to my email. You see this is a ticket number here. So this is the one. Okay, I can either approve, reject. I just click on approve. Okay, I click OK. And soon, after a few seconds, if I ask for the ticket status again, then it will show the status is approved. Okay, so let me show go to my app first. Let me see the app. What is the app showing here? Here in my access card, it's not showing the status approved. But let me go to my chatbot. My chatbot maybe have already answered is approved. Okay. So I'm asking my chatbot, just asking what is the ticket status. Okay, I put 13. You see, now ticket is approved. Now, what I want to show you that is how easy I can easily publish my bot, as well as I can also create a workflow within the context of Microsoft Teams. Okay, so there are a lot of things I can do in terms of managing my channels, and again, which I explained to you in the slide deck, that when you want to do a chatbot outside you can't do. I'll show you what I mean with here. So when you go to channels, the only thing which you can do, I just click here, so I have more real estate. The only thing you can do is only with Microsoft Teams. You can't deploy any other place. You can't deploy on the Facebook. You can't deploy on the Cortana, any place, right? The only context you can do is within Microsoft Teams. If you want to have a not using a Teams environment, then you have to go and get a licensing specialist to find whether this what is the cost for Power Virtual Agents, and this is how many users there. Then you have to do. But what I want to tell you here that within PVA, Power Virtual Agents, Power Apps, and Power Automate, you can do ton of things. Okay. Before I have want to show something very important as well, that when you click on this Power Apps icon, click on the build, I have a lot of artifacts, right? I can see the, if you click on the see all link, I have a lot of things I can do. I see I have approvals, see I have connections, I have a category which I define a table. And my own environment, which is my CDS environment. I can create a Canvas app, on the phone factor or the tablet factor. The chatbot, I already showed you how easy to use it. You can use Microsoft Flow. I think it will be changed to Power Automate soon. To Flow, you can have automated, instant, and scheduled. Table, again, table is like your CDS entity. And you could also define the environment as well. For the chatbots, I already shown you the flows. I also create a very, very simple flow. Let me show you how I do it. Similar thing. I showed you the Power Apps. I showed you the Power Virtual Agents. And same thing I have done very similarly with the context of where Power Microsoft Teams. So I click on here. And if you see my status, what I have defined, I have actually defined the status. If the new entry is created by any user, I will define, let me just close it. It doesn't make any sense here because it's already run. I want to show you, which is I want to click edit and how I have done. So when new person, I have raised a ticket. If we go to the your tickets entity, and then I put the organization, and then I list all the categories. So I told you that I have two categories in my table. So I have IT and HR, and under that I look for the lookup, and then I have a similar stuff. I do the basic approval, nothing fancy. And then if the tickets approve, I say yes, I update a record into CDS. Or else if the tickets is rejected, I just update here as well. So again, nothing fancy, simple stuff which you can do by basic IT pro kind of skills. Okay, so this is my demo. I have any questions, I'm open.
Hi everyone, kindly drop your questions in the chat. We'll give a couple of minutes if you have any. Aroh should be able to answer that. And it's a very vast content, and it's great that Aroh covered everything in such a short span of time. Please feel free to drop your questions there or raise your hand, please. Aroh, there is one question from Nalayapan. He said, is it covered under team member license?
Yes, yeah. So if you have a basic Teams license, but there's a basic premium or any other license is covered. So you don't have to pay extra cost for Power Virtual Agents and any Power Platform and kind of SKU.
I think he's asking about Dynamics 365 team member license.
Oh yeah, so Dynamics, you are the right person. I don't know, no idea. What I'm talking about is Office 365. Yeah, so that's what I want to ask you, because Dynamics I have not touched yet. So maybe Manu or Jeevan can actually answer this thing.
Yeah. So yeah, Nallayappan, with that, we're talking about team integrated with Canvas app. Really couldn't get what your question.
You can actually
Okay, let me
unmute and then you can answer.
Yeah, let me unmute Nallayappan and he can answer.
Yeah, because there have been two different licenses. One is the Office 365, which I'm able to answer. Dynamics 65, I have no visibility, and Manu and Jeevan can actually able to give you a better answer here.
No, actually, I'm just asking about that one. Actually, the team we are integrating with the Canvas app, right? So that one, any separate license is needed, or it's under team member license, we can cover this part.
It's under that license only. So which subscription you are into? You are into
anyhow, I have the D365 license. Apart from that, I want to, maybe some users, they want to have this kind of app means. So suppose if you have 10 users, so we want to develop some app for the 10 users. So we have to pay that $80 is enough, or maybe we need to pay more than that to integrate with this.
Manu and Jeevan, this is about D365, right? Yeah.
I think he's asking about the Teams license itself. Like if it has Teams, Nallayappan, are you checking like if you have Teams license, will you be able to create Canvas apps?
Canvas
like
app,
from within it, you can do that. You don't need to have separate license.
Separate license, right?
Yeah, don't need to have separate. But the Teams license will allow you to create apps from within the Project Oakdale itself. That's the beauty of using it from creating it from within the Teams app itself. Yeah, but certain connectors you won't be able to access, the premium ones. You will need to have additional charges. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just want to re-emphasize. Thanks, Manu. One thing, right? That whether using any license which has Teams, you can use it. What only thing which I mentioned to you that it has a 2 GB space, and also
I think someone have unmuted. Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing is that I also mentioned it has a connectors constraint. So if you're using standard connectors like SharePoint, OneDrive, then no issue.
Okay. Thank you very much both.
Yeah. Most welcome.
Thanks, Nallayappan, for that. And anyone else who would like to ask any question, you can drop your message here, or you can also drop your message in the Meetup post. We'll be able to address it later. And please, feel free to give your feedbacks, valuable feedbacks. I've just dropped the link. Let me drop it again. It will really help us to improve ourselves on the upcoming events. And thank you, Aroh, again for walking us through the Project Oakdale. It was interesting to see how we can build low code and no code apps, flows and chatbots within the teams. It's again, as I said, it's a vast content. It's not easy to cover in this short span of time, and you did a really great job. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Aroh. Before we wind up the session, I would like to invite a few of our community leads to unmute and share their thoughts, quick thoughts. Please feel free to do that, guys.